Have you been waiting for a movie where you can see one man's testicles get crushed in the hands of another man? Well, this is the one for you. So Hardcore Henry is an action movie filmed entirely in the first person, in which we follow this half-human, half-robot cyborg that's just been resurrected from the dead and has no idea who he is, where he is, or what he's meant to do. The movie starts out with Henry being assembled by his wife. You see her screwing his arm in, screwing his leg in, and then all of a sudden all these bad guys come in trying to kill him. They abduct his wife, and thus begins a movie, hour and a half of just straight killing and non-stop mayhem and hardcore action. Essentially, the story is Henry just trying to get the girl back and figure out who he is and why all of this is happening. Now, I know a lot of people see the trailer for this movie and they're thinking, man, that first person's perspective is going to give me some type of motion sickness and it's going to be really hard to watch. And I'm going to be honest with you, the very beginning of this movie, probably first 10, 15, 30 minutes, it is pretty hard to adjust to. If you're someone who's a fan of shaky cam movies or found footage films, then you might like this movie. If you're a fan of first-person shooter games, you'll probably like this movie. Me personally, it did take me a little while to adjust to the first person's perspective because things are happening so quickly. Although it seems like we're just watching through his eyes the entire time, they do have a lot of jump cuts in this movie. The editing is pretty apparent. They try to make it look like a continuous shot. However, you can blatantly see them, and there are some spots where you can see where they could have use a little bit of movie magic to make it appear as though it was one shot. Having the rapid fire editing in conjunction with the first person's perspective, in which we're following this person's head move everywhere, it's a little jarring at first. Now I'm gonna have to give some major props to the stuntmen in this movie. The stunts, the action, the choreography are all freaking phenomenal. They're absolutely insane. If you want to see how many different ways people can get killed, go watch this movie. This movie is gruesome. This movie is extremely gruesome, but it's a lot of fun to watch in a sick, twisted, sadistic way. And another element of the movie that really made it work and really made it this adrenaline-packed, fun-fueled action flick was the music to this movie. It really added to it and just made the adrenaline just spike sky high when action sequences were going on. And it just made the movie feel what it is proclaiming to be, and that's hardcore. In terms of the actors of this movie, Sharlto Copley did a fantastic job. He plays a wide variety of characters in this movie. You discover why he does. But he really expands his range in this movie, and he's basically the comedic relief to the film. And if you have ever played a first-person video game or a video game in general, he basically acts as the quest giver or mission debriefer, where he's like, hey, Henry, I'm here to tell you some stuff. There's a lot of bad guys over there. You should probably kill them, all right? Cool, you're done killing them? Cool. Well, guess what? There's another group of bad guys that need to be killed. Get on it. And that's basically the entire movie. For an hour and a half, it's Sharlto Copley's character finding Henry in a variety of different scenarios and just sending him to go kill more people. So outside of the movie being really, really well done on the action side of things, and it just being a lot of fun to watch, the story is extremely linear, cliche, and basically has zero character development. Right from the get-go, we were told that Henry has no knowledge of who he is or where he is, but all of a sudden he should care about trying to save this girl that's just telling him that they're married. It doesn't really make much sense. It doesn't make much sense that he has his vengeance to go and kill all these people, and it doesn't make much sense why he wouldn't just get out of there. If he's a cyborg and kick a whole bunch of ass, just leave, run away. Not many people are going to stop you. There's no backstory to Henry. We don't really know why he specifically is the protagonist of the movie. We don't really know why he specifically is the most important cyborg, because the story of this movie is, yes, Henry's trying to, well, we're supposed to believe that Henry's trying to figure out who he is. We're trying to find out why all these people are coming after him, and basically it boils down to the villain of the movie, Aiken. Oh man, just as generic as they come. If you have played a video game, if you have watched a movie, you have seen this villain done time and time again, down to the costuming and his weird white hair and his contacts, just to make him look as menacing as possible. And basically the character Aiken is trying to develop this army of cyborgs, just like Henry, to take over the world. For some reason. We are not told why he's trying to do this. We are not told how he's able to create these cyborgs or how he's doing it. And we are not told why specifically he has this huge grudge against the character that is Henry. Things are kind of revealed at the end of why they're specifically going after Henry, but it just doesn't add up to anything. Or at least it doesn't make enough sense to actually matter. I kind of felt like more, oh, just a convenient reason why we need to do all these things to you. Yep. There was no motivation behind the character of Aiken. There's no real motivation behind the character of Henry. All of the exposition that is done in this movie is done through the character that is Sharlto Copley, whatever character he is at that time. And near the end and in certain parts, whenever we see these small glimpses of Aiken, he does provide a little bit more exposition, and then a bulk of it is just done at the end, as if to, haha, this is why I did all these things to you. And now I'm going to get away and be a villain. Because that's what villains do. That's what this movie did. But I am going to give it to him. The final battle, Henry, Aiken's army of cyborgs, is awesome. It actually feels like the final level of a video game. There is so much carnage. The music sounded great and just made it so adrenaline-packed, ridiculously gruesome. There's so many ways that people are getting killed. And then the movie just ends on this high, which is fine. The ending was fitting, but at the same time, there is zero closure in his cyborg manufacturing company. There's zero closure to Henry and his character. There's zero closure to basically anything in this movie. At the end of the day, guys, Hardcore Henry is a really fun action movie that it'd be a great time to go see with a whole bunch of friends. You're going to get what you expect when you go to see this movie. It's a first-person movie that's just completely set on being a hardcore action movie, and that's exactly what it is. So in that respect, they did a great job. In terms of the story, in terms of the characters, in terms of basically everything else, it just falls flat. So if you just want to go see a really fun action movie and just, have a good time, sit back, suspend your disbelief, not worry about characters, not worry about story, just see a whole bunch of people get killed for an hour and a half, well, Hardcore Henry's the movie for you. But without a meaningful story, without real characters that we care about and any substance and any substantial dialogue in the film, this movie's going to be nothing more than some cult hit or some cult classic in the future that a whole bunch of buddies are going to get together, they're going to get drunk, they're going to watch it once a month. If you're somebody who can handle the first person's perspective and it doesn't bother you that much, it's not going to cause you any sickness, I would say if you're down to go see a fun movie, yeah, go see Hardcore Henry just to see how they did it, just to see how they were able to film an entire movie on a GoPro Hero 3, which is pretty impressive, just to see the stunt work and to see the action, which is a lot of fun to watch. However, if you're somebody who wants a little bit more substance out of their movies, this movie is not for you. So Hardcore Henry was a lot of fun to watch, and at the end of the day, I'm going to give it a respectable 6 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please hit like. If you want to see any of my upcoming reviews, please hit that subscribe button below, and I'll catch you in the next one.